How are we doing, guys? Moose here, episode 109 of our West Ham United Career Mode. We're back. We're going to lead off with comment of the day, and it's going to come from Snape Kills Dumbledore. So if you haven't read Harry Potter, hashtag spoilers. But he says, really nice video career mode, Moose, which, first thing, thank you, appreciate it. He says about the team selection, I can see two places where you can upgrade in the first team. Dybala isn't developing despite all the goals, so you can move him on, pick up a marquee forward to play alongside Sturridge, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and the like. In Royce, Candreva, he says Candreva was a monster. It'd be a really good selection. He also would move for a deep line playmaker. Delph and Chianti are very solid, but the team would be that much better if we brought in someone like a Morgan Schneiderlin or a Ramsey sitting in our midfield. He also says we could potentially change formation, which we'll consider depending on the team selection we have available to us once we get through the transfer window. But some big choices going. I do like to play possession, but as you can see with the pace and guys we have up front, counterattack is very solid as well. So Snape Kills Dumbledore, you're right on target, that's for sure, absolutely, with a couple of the moves that I potentially would actually be looking to make, so you'll be pleasantly surprised. But in terms of our performance report, we can see that we will have a performance report now coming at the end of the season, revealing how the board thinks we did at the end of season 3. You can see we've had a few young players come back from loan. We also have one manager of the season in the Premier League, which is phenomenal. Really wonderful to see. I mean, we won the league with West Ham, so I think it pretty deserved at that point, but it's nice to see it come in through the game. So manager of the season, which is phenomenal. The board says they want us to qualify for Champions Cup. It was an amazing season as we did win the league, so obviously you can see that's a huge result for us, so they're happy with the way we're leading the team, and clearly it looks like we're going to be leading the team forward. They said the Champions Cup was not how they hoped. They actually wanted us to make the knockout stages, which the round of 16 is the knockout stage. So that's, I guess, a little glitch in FIFA that it thinks if you don't win round of 16, it just assumes you went out in the group stages. I don't know how that works, but either way, a bit of an error from FIFA, but we'll take it in stride because we won the league, so we're not going anywhere regardless of how they thought we did in the Champions League. And finally, Domestic Cup, we did very well. We didn't win the cup, but we went to the semi-final of the Capital One Cup, which they wanted us just to make a semi-final of the cup, so another good cup run here. So we can see the board's very happy with us, and they're happy that we're going to be leading the team forward into Season 4. And now it's underway. Bang, Season 4. We load the menu up. We can see we're seeing just a day outside the transfer window. And first things first, we're going to take a look at what the board has given us budget-wise. £23.5 million, which is easily the biggest budget we've ever had. I think the largest coming in last season, we had like 16 million. So this is a massive jump forward because we won the league. Phenomenal. 23.5 million, 110 in the wage budget. So really hoping to do some good business with this. You can see, though, the board wants us to win the title. Fine, our first league title ever, our best finish ever in the league, won the league. Well, let's try to win it again. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the leeway you guys are giving me. So they want us to win the league title again. Obviously, we're going to do our absolute best. As long as we finish top 3 or so, you'd think we'd still be fine to stay around for next season. But following that, you can see we have moved to the 1st of July, which means the transfer window is open. For the cup, they want us to reach a final. They want us to make the knockout stage in the Champions League. I really want to go as far as I can in the Champions League. That's our first main goal. And then training injury. Jordan Obita will be out for 6 weeks, but luckily we have a lot of depth at our fullback positions now because we have Cresswell, obviously. Obita was his second in command, but we've also promoted youngster Tom Davies, left back, with potential to be especially 74 overall, and I think he's only 16 or 17 years old. So honestly, it's probably good that Obita got hurt because it means Davies will get a bit more action in things like cup games just to develop a little bit further as a player. But we'll take a look at the youth team. You can see we got a couple of good players in here still. Uche Smithies is one I'm really looking forward to seeing. And then we have two 15-year-olds in McFadden. Davies looks very promising. McFadden looks like he could be an absolute monster. Tom Gordon looks like a really quality goalkeeper as well. Might even be better than Tom Thomas. So a couple of really promising players. And Uche Smithies, a playmaking center back. Interesting. But now we can see the team. We've talked about what we would want to improve. And now this is my short list to start off the transfer window. You can see Sterling, 84 overall. His contract's expiring in 12 months. So could we get him on the cheap? That would be a massive buy. El Shaarawy also on the wings, 2 players. Cam, couple of players I'm looking at just because Grenier I didn't think performed well for us. Also maybe a central midfielder, maybe a center back. That's a couple of places. And now you can see the players I've transfer listed. Rodriguez just hasn't developed for us. Spiegel wants out. Danny Pim, a youngster that's not really going anywhere in the team. Same with Potts. Grenier I've transfer listed, as well as Rafa. Winston Reid, we know, is already asked to be transfer listed. He's on his way out, that's for sure. But Rafa and Grenier might be the two that would surprise you. Grenier just didn't seem to hack it in that cam position. Honestly, we played better when Pastore was in cam because it allowed us to play a couple of solid defensive players in those holding midfield spots. And Grenier's not helping his case by asking for more money. He wants more wage. I just told him, you know, if we can sell you on, we're selling you on because you haven't done the business for us. And he said, you know, give me some more money. Yeah, I think that's really hurting your case, Clement. But him and also Rafa, because besides a couple of games where he really showed, notably Ajax in the Champions League, he really underwhelmed. He was more of a rotation option. So I think we have Craig Croft that we just called up to the first team. He's 78 overall. I think he's actually already progressed to 79. And he can play on those wings. So I think Rafa could be expendable because of the promotion of Craig Croft and the fact that we're looking to get a top quality winger, which would push Dybala into more of a Rafa type role. But take a look here if you want to pause it because we're going through it quickly. But these are a lot of central midfielders. That's one place that we said we should improve the team, and we have some players in mind that we're going to be scouting completely. Wilshere, Gundogan, Schneiderlin, of course, Ander Herrera. So a lot of central midfielders that we're looking for, especially guys like Schweinsteiger. Even could we imagine Michael Bradley, Gundogan, Schweinsteiger? Those are our real top targets because those are those holding midfielders that can really control the play, dominate the game, and do very well for us. But an early offer comes in for our captain, Aaron Cresswell. He's going nowhere. Also an offer for Dybala, who the comment of the day actually suggested we should sell. My only response to that is I'm not going to sell him because he offered 22 goals, but because his overall so low, we wouldn't get any money for him. So if I sold him on, I'm selling a player that I know will be useful to the team, but we'll probably only get $5-6 million for him, and that's not going to be worth it for the kind of output he can offer us either from a starting position or on the bench. But Newcastle offered £2.9 million for Winston Reid, who wants to leave the club. So I counter say, give me his value 3.6, and he can be on his way up to Tyneside. And they say, yeah, we'll be more than happy with that. 3.6 million. Winston Reid looks to be on his way to Newcastle. But our first player we're looking at, Morgan Schneiderlin, we can see valuation-wise what he might be worth. We'll then go in with another offer. It's for Jordan Ibe for a season-long loan. That's one potential buy there. Excuse me, not potential buy, but potential sale, get him some loan experience. But then the big deal that really could change our summer, Barcelona coming for Jonathan Tah. He's gone up 1 overall since we brought him in, I think, a season and a half ago. And they come in for $8.5 million for him. I sent him on loan to Watford in the Championship, and he gained 1 overall point last season. So he's honestly a player that's expendable. I have 3 center backs already ahead of him in the pecking order. So if they're going to come in with silly money for him, I'm more than happy to let him go because I think we only bought him for $4 million. I countered 11.5, and they said, yes, we'll take him on. So I said, $11.5 million, that's a $7.5 million profit for a center back that has not broken into our team at all. More than happy to let him go. And offer then on loan for Leo Chambers to go out. So another center back possibly leaving the club. Only on loan, of course, but that's just one less guy that we have to pick from. Colm then come in saying, hey, let's bring Winston Reid over to Germany. I say, if you take 3.6 like Newcastle offered, you can have him as well. But Tah's now gone to Barcelona, so it's £8.5 million to add to our transfer kitty for the summer. Winston Reid's then gone to Newcastle. They finalized that deal. He says, I'm going to stay in England for we get 2.7, I think, added to our transfer budget as well. So 2 very, very good deals. And then Tompkins comes in with the silliest response. Hey, let me take Winston Reid's position. Sure, you can have his position. He's sitting on the bench. I don't know what you're getting at there. But after those 2 deals, look at the budget we have now to work with. It's gone from $23 million up to $34,206,000 in the wage budget, so we can do some serious damage in the transfer budget now, in my opinion. But our first attempted move is going to be for Gundogan because he's also in the last 12 months of his deal, similar to Sterling, who I showed you before. So I thought we might be able to get on a cheap. He's 87 overall. If we could bring him in, that would be absolutely massive. So I thought, Grenier, send him out to Dortmund. Let them take the creative midfielder on, and $6.5 million as well if we can bring him in. I also thought Schneiderlin, he's proven in the Premier League. We know how good he is. He looks Champions League quality, in my opinion. 82 overall right now, but still room to develop. I think he could probably go up 2 or 3 more overall points. And we figured we could probably get him in a straight swap with Grenier potentially, because though they want 16.5, whatever, Grenier's worth 16.5. He's actually technically worth more than Schneiderlin. So if we could get him in, send Grenier the other way, I'd be more than happy with it. But Southampton say, we'll take Grenier. We're really interested in him, but we want $2 million back as well. Dortmund don't want Grenier, so we thought, we'll try and offer a bit more, just sweeten the deal. Maybe they'll go along with it, but if they don't want Grenier, it seems like it's not going to happen. But Southampton, I say, we'll try $1 million. Can we get him? I don't want to pay 18 odd million basically for Schneiderlin if we can get him cheaper than that. But if we have to, we'll make that move. We do have our first friendly, though. We're going to get some of the young guys, some of the transfer listed guys out on the field. Grenier actually scores twice in the friendly as we beat Metz. Basically, I just use it to try and sweeten the deal. Say, Grenier's in great form. Don't you want to take him? But we get a notice from Oxlade Chamberlain. He comes to my office and says, I'm not having my role at the club. I say, Alex, you're a starter. You play every game. Don't give me that sass. Change your attitude, son. We need to keep you here at the club. My big move then for a winger, we mentioned suggested players from the comments were Royce, Candreva, but I thought Raheem Sterling, he's 84 overall, valued at $18 million, but we might be able to get him for less than that because he's in the last year of his deal. He's been reluctant to sign a new deal at Liverpool, who are really struggling. I think they finished last season in 11th. If we can bring him in for cheaper than his value, that will be the best piece of business that we could possibly make, because Royce, I think, has 4 or 5 years left on his deal. He'd cost $60 million. If we could get Raheem Sterling for $18 million or less, that would be a mammoth deal. But you can see Juventus came in for De Gea. We're selling him at no cost. We don't want any more turnover in the goalkeeper department. And I thought another central mid target, a youngster. Rabiot hasn't progressed for me potentially. So Tielemans, he's really well rounded. He's young. He's 79 overall. Bring him in possibly. Also, Jack Wilshere. If we can't bring in Schneiderlin, maybe Jack Wilshere could be the answer. Swapping Grenier out. Put Wilshere in central midfield in front of a Chiate or a Delph. Dortmund then come in for Danny Pim. Young striker we transfer listed. He can go out, no problem. Let him try and advance his career somewhere else. But you can see he's gone. And Liverpool have accepted $16 million for Raheem Sterling. He's valued at $18 million. We're getting him on the cheap. It's an absolute steal. If we can finalize this deal, we are going to be set in terms of our wingers. Sterling on one side, a combination of possibly Dybala or Oxlade Chamberlain on the other side, supporting either Sturridge or Wickham, is a wonderful front line to work with. So we actually have a friendly now against Real Madrid, and we've played our first Team 11 that we have for selection right now. So it's pretty much the same first Team 11 we had last year because we haven't brought in anyone new yet, but we have deals in the works. We're making moves. The wheels are churning on some big deals that we could possibly be using to improve the squad. But for right now, you can see Real Madrid, look at their lineup. It's phenomenal. The back line, they've really rotated, but Kovacic, Modric, Juan Mata, Gareth Bale, Benzema, and Ronaldo, what a terrorizing front six that they'll have against us. And this is just going to be a wrap-up here. We're not going to show you. It's just a friendly. It's not terribly important, but if we can come away with a victory against Real Madrid, it will do so much to buoy our spirits. A victory at the Bernabeu, and it started off on a great note. Marquinhos with a bullet header. It's his second goal for West Ham in this career mode. Obviously, he had one last season. This one's not in a competitive fixture, but it's still a goal nonetheless. And another chance as Oxlade Chamberlain wins a penalty in the 36th minute. He's brought down by Carvajal in the area, and it's a beautiful, beautiful chance for us to jump ahead by 2 goals against mighty Real Madrid, the Galacticos against the Hammers. Beautiful chance for Sturridge. He stutter steps and he hammers it down the middle. 2-0. Come on, lads. West Ham United with a wonderful chance to pull off an upset, albeit in a friendly, but one that we would not be expected to be winning. So great chance. Real Madrid, they'll get back on the score sheet with James Rodriguez, a looping header. De Gea didn't know if he wanted to come and claim it or if he wanted to stay back in his goal. It left him in no man's land, and Real Madrid do draw one back in the 69th minute. But finally, we bring on some of the youngsters. Davies gets a run out. Croft gets a run out. Barber gets a run out. And we actually win a penalty here in the 90th minute. And that means I'm going to let the youngster, Craig Croft, the winger, 79 overall, at age 17, with rocking his dreadlocks in the ponytail, comes forward to give us his first ever goal in a West Ham shirt, and he does it. Craig Croft, lovely finish. It seals the victory, a famous win over Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and that is a great, really bodes well for how our season may turn out. So that's going to be it for this game, for this episode. Let me know what you thought of the transfer dealings. If you like some of the moves we're making, we're basically showing you the transfer dealings as they happen. I have a lot of ideas for FIFA 16 career mode in terms of how I'm going to change up how we actually display, and I'll show you what's going on in the transfer window. But I'm going to save that. I think that's a big thing that we're going to bring forward in that career mode. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think of the moves. Anyone else you think we should bring in, transfer targets we should be looking at. I want to hear from you guys. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Like we always do with this time. I got to shine.